Hi everyone, my name is Emma and I'm a Visitor Experience Assistant here at Guelph Museums. Thanks so much for joining us for today's Museum of You activity. This is a weekly video series where we imagine that people 100 years in the future want to see a museum exhibit all about you. Over these 6 weeks, I'll show you how to collect images, stories, and artifacts from your day-to-day life to make an exhibit all about you. You can absolutely participate in today's activity if you didn't do last week's, but these activities all do go together. So when you get a chance, I do recommend heading over to our Museums Everywhere page to do the previous week's activity. Last week, we talked about stuff. In the museum world, when we collect items that help us tell the story about history, we call these artifacts. These are very helpful for helping us understand the past. But another useful thing that we collect at museums are images. Have you ever heard the phrase, "a picture is worth 1,000 words"? People say this because when you have a picture, it can have so much information in it that it would take almost 1,000 words to describe what it contains. For example, take a look at this picture. What's happening in this picture? There are lots of different people, and looking at them can tell us a little bit about what's happening here. Some of the people are really dressed up. Do people still dress up like this today? And what about the people in the cement area in the front of the picture? Do you think they're kids or adults? And did you see the people in the water? The words on this picture say swimming pool, Riverside Park. Does this look like a swimming pool that you would use today? It looks pretty different to me. This picture is from about 115 years ago, and it shows us how different going swimming was back then compared to how it is now. We're going to look at one more picture, and then I'm going to show you how to take some pictures for your own exhibit. Take a look at this picture. Do you think this picture was taken this year? Do you think it was taken 115 years ago, like the swimming picture? Or was it taken somewhere in between? What is happening in this picture? This boy is playing a video game at a video arcade. Does it look like the video games that you play? Do you think you could figure out how to play this game? This picture is from 40 years ago. Your parents might have played games like this when they were a kid. Both of these pictures showed us a little bit about what life used to look like in the past. It's like getting to get into a time machine and travel to the past and then just peek out the window and look around. But now it's time to think about a time machine to the future. If you were going to make a museum exhibit all about you, to send 100 years into the future so that people could see what life was like in 2021, what photos would you put in that exhibit? Here at Guelph Museums, we have photos of people from the past doing fun activities, playing games at work, at school, with their families, with their friends, in their houses, walking around, driving in their cars, and doing all sorts of other things. We also have photos that show just one person, either sitting down or standing, but not doing anything in particular. That's called a portrait, and it's a great way of recording what someone looked like. And sometimes the photos that we have in our collection don't have people in them at all. We have pictures of nature, of the buildings in Guelph, and of interesting objects or pieces of art. Every type of photo helps us learn something about the time when that picture was taken. So now it's your turn. Are you ready to take some pictures? Check out the worksheet on our Museums Everywhere portal. It's also linked to on this post. It has a big checklist full of ideas about things to take pictures of. You don't have to take pictures of everything on the list, but try to go find at least 5 of these things to take a photo of. You can take pictures with a camera, a phone, a tablet, or maybe even a computer. If you don't have access to any of those, don't worry. You can draw 5 pictures instead. Cameras were invented about 200 years ago, but they were really hard to get your hands on until about 100 years ago. Before then, people used to draw or paint instead. And when we have an exhibit here at the museum about something that happened before cameras were around, we do use lots of paintings and drawings to help us show what life was like back then instead of photographs. Well, that's it. Once you've taken your photos or drawn your pictures, be sure to hold on to them. In 4 weeks' time, I'll be showing you how to use those along with everything else that you're going to be collecting over the next little while to make your exhibit all about you. Until then, keep joining us each week for more Museum of You activities. Everything that we use will be going into your exhibit. And in the meantime, we'd love to see the photos that you take. Have an adult post them to social media and tag @Guelph Museums so we can see what photos you've chosen. If you enjoyed learning about how we get information from old pictures in our collection, be sure to check out our Friday video series, Closer Look, where we take a look at one picture at a time from the museum's collection and see what it can tell us about life in the past. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll see you again next week.